welcome to the NREP Daily right here on the National Real Estate Post. We were working to get a Saturday show done every week with Barry, but this week we wanted to bring him on Monday just to get his insights on what's going on, what took place last week, what we can expect this week, and just rates and housing in general. But before we do that, Barry, I want to remind everybody, Oak Tree Funding, your non-QM leaders out there. Just real quick, check this out. 85% LTV up to $1 million, 75 LTV, 12 or 24 month bank statements. Hey, Texas, cash outs allowed, right? Cash out allowed for reserves on all programs. FICO's as low as 680. Loan amounts to $2.5 million for non-QM and prime jumbo. I mean, just great stuff. All you got to do to engage with these guys is click the banner you see right here on your screen. Just scroll down, click that banner, and account executive will talk to you. Get your deal through the system. Oak Tree Funding. Don't mess around. How are you, Barry?
I'm great. Wow, that's pretty good stuff.
Oh, I know. They're killer. They're just killer, and they're slaying it right now. I think they got the highest LTV non-QM right now.
Wow.
So, good to know. Speaking of good to know, what do we got cooking, man? I mean, what's happening this week? I mean, let's talk, you know what? Let's start with real estate, okay? Because we've talked about this a couple of times in the past, how it just seems to be like on fire. But you have said that, you know what? We got to kind of be a little cautious here and keep our eye on that because, you know, there's unemployment still out there and some things kind of got to catch up to the numbers a little bit. What's your feeling on that this week?
So, you know, the numbers that we got from the MBA on purchase applications started to show that when we saw that initial burst, that was like a spring being coiled up and then releasing all this energy from the lockdown. So people were really not only pent up in their demand, but you also had a lot of folks that want more space and more distance. So you're seeing that exodus. So we anticipate that to continue at a really strong level where, you know, we've always been bullish on housing, at least for the past 9 years. But we do believe that the pace of acceleration we've seen will kind of crust a little bit. It'll still be good, but you know, once you have that initial rush, while we'll still be in great shape, there'll be a little bit of a less frantic pace, although still pretty robust. Now, one thing that people are thinking about is, should I bid more than asking price, right? I mean, that's one of the things that people are talking about now, because in order to get a house, you almost have to win the house. It's not buying a house today; it's winning it.
Yeah.
And you know, listen. The first thing is that people that are even allowing others into homes usually want to make sure that they're pre-qualified. So that's become more restrictive. And I think that it's very important for individuals to look at the appreciation in their market, because don't just do this willy-nilly, because that's what people did in the past, and sometimes they discovered they got a little ahead of themselves. So yes, the market's hot. Yes, there's going to be appreciation, but every zip code's different.
Yeah.
It's very important to look at forecasted appreciation in your specific zip code, which will tell you, okay, you know what, maybe I'm bidding a little more. How long is it going to take me to recover? Is it going to take me 3 months, a year, 2 years to recover the amount over asking price that I'm going to be bidding?
Right.
Very important to contemplate right now.
So so what you're basically saying is hey, real estate's probably going to continue on an upward trajectory. It's just going to be more like this instead of like this, basically. But precisely. Probably we're going to still see real estate do well going forward for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, because there's just more demand than supply. Builders got hit with COVID, so that even shrinks the supply even more. And you know what the hottest segment is? It's very interesting. The hottest segment are people that are ages under 35 years old, especially those under 30. So there's a big exodus of people that are in the urban core and they're moving to the suburbs, to the exurb, which is the next ring out. Those are the hot markets right now. So we expect that to continue. And look, rates are going to be low. Rates are going to remain low. What we have to remember is, you know, low is a relative term, right? So, you know, if some point in time somebody would have talked about a rate that was at 5%, people would have said, oh my God, it'll never get as low as 5%.
Right.
And then when it got to 4, 5 seemed high. Now 4 seems high, right? So, you know, low is a very relative term.
Sure is.
And where we are right now, we expect rates to remain kind of in that range between 3 and 4%. It'll bounce around. We've been very judicious in our lock calls, but we've done 2 lock calls in a couple of months. One was on June 4th, and that was correct before a 70 basis point drop. And then we had a lock call that we did on Wednesday, which appeared to be the right thing because things dropped on Wednesday and kind of flattened out on Thursday. So saved about 16 basis points there. But we see it in a range right now of where we are. We're kind of near the upper end of the range in price, which means we could see a little price erosion and kind of vacillate back and forth. But that range is about 70 basis points, so there could be some moves in your pricing that you want to make sure you capture.
Okay, so let's talk about this week here. This is being viewed on Monday. Just full disclosure, guys, we recorded this Friday, and so this is being viewed by you guys on Monday. But this week, what's coming up in the news that might, change things around? Or
the two things we're watching that can move, well, one that really can move the market is the jobs numbers on Thursday, those initial jobless claims. And just like we saw last week, still about 1.4 million people asking for unemployment benefits for the first time. And the other aspect of it is that we're seeing continuing claims, people that's staying on unemployment benefits. That's still over 19 million. I mean, that's a big number. Okay, this is concerning that it's that high, that people are continuing with unemployment benefits, because now we're getting the jobs reports from ADP, from BLS, and they're showing, like last month they said in June we created 4.8 million jobs. Then why are there still 20 million people collecting unemployment benefits? And that has barely budged on a relative basis. It's 19.3 million, but it was 19.5 million, 20 million. It hasn't really moved for the past 6 weeks. It hasn't really come down. So if we are creating all these jobs, what's happening? I'll tell you what I suspect, that it has a lot to do with the PPP money. And the PPP money, when you take a look at the unemployment rate, it came down to 11.1% from 13.3. So that, okay, well, it's still very high, but it looks like it's getting better, right?
Yeah.
Misclassifications, it's really more like 12%. And then when you look at something called the U6, okay, the U6 number, that takes into account people that are working part-time who'd rather be full-time, so they're no longer considered unemployed, and people that have stopped looking for a job for the last 4 weeks. Now, why is that so important? Because that number came in over 18% unemployment.
Wow.
So there's normally about a 3% spread between the two. So I think the real rate of unemployment is closer to 15, but people have told me this, the way that they're categorizing their employees is in order to keep getting PPP money.
Right.
They're still keeping it on there, but because their amount that they're receiving is less, they're able to collect unemployment and get that extra $600 kicker too.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right. So Thursday is that number. Any other things coming out this week?
Wednesday we like to look at the mortgage applications, see how the purchase market's doing, see how refinances are doing. So those are the things we're looking for. But during this week, I do expect us to see a little bit of price erosion, especially if the stock market kicks up. I mean, goodness gracious, try and figure out why the stock market is doing the things that it's doing. But it is really just bucking the trend. One day I think somebody's going to pull a plug on that thing, and it's going to be something that we'll see a pretty big and severe pullback. We know we're susceptible to those. So just a little bit cautious. It's a little scary as far as I'm concerned at these levels, considering what we have in front of us. But look, overall, the business that we're in, it couldn't be a better choice for us. You and I were talking about this recently. Just you
couldn't have picked a better career over the past 10 or 11 years as an originator, anyway.
Yeah, because you think about the position that we're in. But one other thing that I'm hearing a lot of is people wondering if they should wait a little bit of time to refinance because they think rates might indeed get lower. They might, but please make sure that you mention to people the amount of money that you lose by waiting. Because if you're going to save $300 or $400 a month, well, every month you wait, even if you're right, that's $300 or $400 you would have put in your pocket. So it takes a long time for the incremental benefit, if you get it, to make up for that.
Right.
And I think one other thing, we need to make sure that people understand that while the natural marketplace may want interest rates to drop, lenders are all at record months, and they're all at, if not maximum capacity, pretty close to breaking points. Okay. What's the incentive, even if the market says the rate should be lower, for them to offer a lower rate when you can't handle the business you have?
Right, can't handle it. Yeah.
Make sure that you mention that to your customer. It's just the supply and demand issue, that while you might think that you're waiting and then you'll see, oh, the 10-year treasury did drop, yay, but mortgage rates did not drop or even went up because of capacity. It's something you need to explain, that we are in unusual circumstances and times right now.
Yeah. So again, this is recorded Friday. We're watching it on Monday, but would you say we're cautiously floating at this point going into the week?
we did a lock late last week, and what we're doing now is we are very cautiously floating. I think there's still some room for price erosion, so we're watching it really carefully, and we're going to get out early on it before we do to preserve that pricing. Now that said, will it probably come back? I think it probably will come back. I think if there's a worsening in pricing, it will be temporary in nature. So that's kind of the market that we're in, because the Fed keeps buying. They're buying $4.5 billion a day, which is just astronomical.
Must be nice.
Just crazy, right?
Awesome stuff.
$100 billion a month. 100 billion. Yeah, there's 100 billion.
Awesome stuff. Well, great, Barry. Thanks so much for all the information. You guys take it, use it, digest it, share it, forward it, and you guys have a fabulous week going forward. If you want to connect with Barry and MBS Highway, we've got a banner down below. You can click it and get a 2-week free trial, and don't miss out on any of these
and for everyone
alerts, etc.
And for everyone watching, yes, we are recording it Friday, and we are recording it on Frank's birthday. So happy birthday to you, my brother. God bless you. Many, many years of happiness and health. I know everybody watching loves you and wishes you the greatest birthday, man.
Well, thank you so much, Barry. Appreciate it, man. All right, guys, do us a favor. Leave us your comments down below. Forward, share, subscribe if you're meeting us for the first time. We'll catch you later here on the NREP Daily. See ya.